Martha and Robert had been married for 42 years. They had weathered many storms together, raising 3 children, career changes, Martha's breast cancer scare, and Robert's knee replacements. They still enjoyed each other's company, still held hands while watching TV, and still exchanged a peck on the lips each morning. But something had changed over the past few years. The spark, that feeling of desire that had once been a vibrant part of their relationship, had dimmed considerably. At first, they both silently attributed it to age. After all, isn't that what happens when you're in your late 60s? The body changes, hormones shift, and desire naturally wanes, or so they thought. One afternoon, Martha was having coffee with her friend Eleanor, who at 72 was several years older than Martha. "You seem troubled," Eleanor noted, stirring her coffee thoughtfully. Martha hesitated before confiding, "Robert and I, well, we hardly ever make love anymore. I guess that's just part of getting older." Eleanor smiled knowingly. "That's what Frank and I thought too. We went almost 2 years, barely touching each other. Then our marriage counselor helped us realize something important. The biggest barrier wasn't our age at all." "Then what was it?" Martha asked. "Communication," Eleanor said. "Or rather, our lack of it. We'd stopped talking about our needs, our bodies, our feelings. We were making assumptions instead of having conversations." This revelation sparked something in Martha. That evening, she suggested to Robert that they take a walk after dinner, something they often did in their early years together. As they strolled through their neighborhood in the soft evening light, Martha took a deep breath and broached the subject. "I miss us," she said quietly. "I miss the physical connection we used to have." Robert was silent momentarily, then replied, "I've been afraid of disappointing you. Things don't work quite the way they used to for me." "You could have told me," Martha said gently. "It's not easy to talk about," Robert admitted, "but I miss us too." That honest exchange became the first of many conversations. They discovered that poor communication had created a cycle. Discomfort led to avoidance, avoidance led to distance, and distance further diminished desire. As they gradually reopened this aspect of their relationship, they learned several important things. First, they needed to update their understanding of their changing bodies. Martha now needed more time for arousal, and Robert benefited from certain medications. But they wouldn't have addressed these needs without talking about them. Second, they had been making incorrect assumptions about each other's interests and abilities. Robert thought Martha had lost interest in physical intimacy altogether, while Martha assumed Robert's occasional difficulties meant he no longer found her attractive. Both assumptions were entirely false. Third, they had been limiting their definition of intimacy to how they expressed it when they were younger. With open communication, they discovered new forms of pleasure and connection that actually worked better for them now. Within a few months of beginning these honest conversations, their intimate life had transformed. It wasn't the same as it had been in their 40s. It was different, sometimes better, occasionally challenging, but ultimately more satisfying, because it was built on complete honesty about their current needs and desires. The story of Martha and Robert illustrates what research consistently shows. For many seniors, the primary barrier to sexual desire isn't age itself. It's the breakdown in communication that often accompanies aging. This communication breakdown happens for many reasons. Discomfort discussing intimate topics, especially for generations raised with more conservative attitudes about sexuality. Embarrassment about normal bodily changes. Fear of hurting a partner's feelings. Uncertainty about what's normal for sexuality as we age. Incorrect assumptions about a partner's feelings or capabilities. The good news is that unlike some physical aspects of aging, communication patterns can be changed at any stage of life. Here's how to begin. Start with self-reflection. Understand your changing needs and desires before expressing them to someone else. Choose a relaxed, private moment for conversation, not during or immediately before intimacy. Use I statements instead of accusations. I miss feeling close to you works better than you never touch me anymore. Be specific about physical needs, whether that means more foreplay, certain positions that accommodate joint pain, or using supportive aids like lubricants. Expand your definition of intimacy beyond what worked in your younger years. Many seniors find that different approaches to physical connection become more satisfying with age. Consider seeking help if needed. A doctor can address medical concerns affecting desire, while a therapist specializing in senior sexuality can facilitate difficult conversations. Remember Martha and Robert's story. The desire for connection doesn't diminish with age. It often just needs a different approach to communication. By breaking the silence and having honest conversations, many couples discover a renewed intimacy that unexpectedly enriches their golden years. The first step is to start talking. The rest will